Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. How is everyone doing? Had some early chatters in here. I chatted for a little bit. I like to come in early and chat with you guys. Can't really chat during the show. I'm a multitasker, but don't have that gig down yet. I said hi to Diane, preschool granny. Uli in the house. Hello, Amanda. Big T. There's my friend Angel P. Wolverine. How do I say this? Ambahhh. And how did you get that font? Somebody else was using a different font on Facebook. And here I am stuck in Times New Roman land. How did you get that font? Welcome. See some new names? Hit the sub button. Wolverine, what's up, my friend? Hello, Pebbles. Let's see. I'm scrolling. I'm used to the new equipment now. So hopefully that annoying bump is over. Hello, Shandia. How are you? Hey, Carolina, what's up? Lauren is not at work today. Good. Lauren can hang out with us. Work gets in the way of our chat time, man. That adulting business is for the birds. But we all got to eat. Hello, Michelle. What you doing? How are you, Miss Linda? So some people said they're not familiar with this case. I'll get you caught up as much as I can. There's a lot of shows on the channel about Harmony. It is disgusting. It will make you so mad that you can't even see straight. There is nothing right in this entire case. Not one adult, not one judge, nothing. Not one parent, nothing. Everybody failed Harmony Montgomery. It's a very hard case to talk about. And as you know, we keep things as light as we can around here. But on this one, I get extra mad. Queen of Ravens, good morning. Did y'all see the weird stuff about Tony D? Oh, I better catch up. You're telling me there's yet another weird person? Rowena, good morning. Fun to ski. Magoo is in here. What's up, Magoo? And of course, we have our infamous mod squad, Lisa Aldridge. Let's welcome her to the mod squad. Got her wrench yesterday. Rebecca's in. If I miss anybody, I'll get you in the comments or your after show comments. You never know, because we always get awesome after show comments. Even the ones, been getting some, you can imagine what case I'm talking about. I enjoy all the comments. Some of them I think, what planet you from? What planet are you from? Good morning, Laura. How are you? Spicy lady. Alicia's in. So anyway, old stepmother, Kayla Montgomery, Harmony Montgomery's stepmother, for those of you new to the case. Old stepmother didn't show up for her court appearance. Go figure. Go figure. You're telling me she didn't write it down on a calendar? Well, she also forgot to tell everybody that Harmony was missing. But she did remember to file state benefits to continue receiving welfare benefits for Harmony, knowing that Harmony was nowhere to be found. But anyway, she failed to show up. So a few days ago, they say Kayla's a fugitive. Kayla's a fugitive. Well, the U.S. Marshals found her. She looks a little scuffed up. Let me see. Looks something was going on. Something was going on. I don't know if it's because she was fighting with the cops or where she was all laid up for a few days if something went down there. No sympathy for me. No sympathy for me. Of course, it's a rumor only. I get a lot of those. So I always have an asterisk. This is a rumor that it looks like that Some of her injuries, no shits to give here, came from the marshals, and that she is thinking about filing a police brutality suit. Let that sink in, my friends. Let that sink in. Harmony Montgomery was murdered. She was murdered. At this point, I think no one really cares about how she was pulled out of the house and taken to jail. I'm going to bring our friend Susan up, who, by the way, she would love to have been one of those marshals bringing step meth to the clink. Good morning, Susan.
Good morning. Yeah, she's going to file charges against the officers. That's rich.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And regardless of her and Teardrop's personal problems, Harmony was murdered. Harmony was murdered.
She sure was.
And while Kayla went back into the life that she was told, you have to show up every single day, give your sample, whether she was peeing in a cup, whatever they were doing, to make sure she wasn't out there getting back on drugs. She went right back into that lifestyle. Well, I imagine she has a lot of things on her mind. The number one thing that should have been on her mind was the death of Harmony Montgomery, which we all can probably somewhere meet in the middle. She knows a lot more about than what she's letting on.
That's absolute. You're not going to convince me otherwise. And what about the places that she was 3 times, I believe, that she was caught in the distribution of drugs?
She's been busy.
Yeah. I don't know why she wasn't locked up for that. 3 times.
Mm-hmm. You can't fail anymore in this case. You just can't. I mean, you have the FBI and the marshals involved now, which they have been for some time.
Yeah.
So all they had to say was one of the favorite F words law enforcement has. They said fugitive. Next thing you know, they track her down. I would love to know how they found her. I would love to know how they found her.
Well, she was doing it right out in the open. So she couldn't have been that hard to find.
Yeah, it didn't take them too long. It didn't take them too long. There's one picture. They've got her out in the driveway.
Oh, I like that one.
Would you like me to print that out and send it to you?
I would. I would want that on my Christmas card, Brooks.
Okay. I'm going to write that right down. Write that down. I've been wondering what to get you for Christmas, Susan.
That'll do it. That'll do it. It takes so little to make me happy.
There they are. They got her right there. Then here she is. It looks like they found her upstairs. They got her. Still no Harmony, though.
No.
Still no Harmony.
She can't be bothered with Harmony.
Where?
Nor her own kids.
Nope. She can't see her own kids.
Mm-mm.
She cannot see her children. And, hugs, not drugs. Just say no. I don't know how she got into this lifestyle. And at this point, I don't really have that sympathy for her. If it
You know how she got into it. She got into it with old Teardrop. He destroys everyone.
So you think that she wasn't in that life before? You think Teardrop got her this bad off, huh?
No, I'm not sure. I think they may have gone in it together. But yeah, it follows him like the plague.
Everywhere that man goes, disaster. Disaster. Yep. He's still a suspect in a murder from 2008 in Lynn, Massachusetts.
That's no big deal.
He doesn't have to worry about that.
No.
The girlfriend that he was living in the car with after him and stepmother broke up. She's dead.
Yep.
Harmony has been murdered. No charges filed for the murder of Harmony Montgomery.
I still don't understand that.
Mm-mm. I think just because he's sitting there, they don't want to start the clock per se. Plus, they still have this pesky little thing going on that he doesn't want his cell phone used against him. Well, what's on it, Teardrop? Who were you talking to and about what? What would it matter unless it's going to get you hung up for the murder of your daughter, Harmony Montgomery?
I wonder that myself.
Mm-hmm. And yes, to answer a question in chat, he is locked up. He is locked up, but it has nothing to do with the murder of Harmony. I think it'll happen soon. I think by the end of the year, we're going to see murder charges on one or both of them, because there's no way in hell now they're going to let stepmother out of the clink. There's no way.
Stranger things have happened.
Ugh, I know. I don't even want to think about it. I don't even want to think about it. Mm-mm. Oh, Rockin' Robin said step trash will now get drug and alcohol treatment, probably mental health treatment, all the care she needs, but little Harmony got nothing. Harmony was failed by everything. Born to drug-addicted parents. That would be Crystal Sorey, who wants to be the hero in this, and it's not working out for her at all. And, of course, Adam Montgomery, who we call Teardrop here because I don't want to insult anyone with the name Adam. Adam, Teardrop, goes to jail, shooting people in the face, little things like that. Crystal, she's on drugs. She can't take care of her kids. So Harmony and her little brother Jameson, who is not Teardrop's son, by the way, they go to foster care.
And from what I heard, Harmony was in a good foster home. Mm-hmm. They were good to her.
They both were. Now, I thought the foster family wanted to adopt both of them. I was wrong. They're not set up. I shouldn't say set up. They were not basically in line to adopt them. But the two gentlemen, I think one is a meteorologist and the other one's an attorney. They live in the Boston area. Okay. Super great guys. They wanted to adopt both Harmony and Jameson. Teardrop's getting out of jail. He says, no, that's my daughter. So he starts reunification with Harmony. What was it, 40 hours, Susan? A ridiculous amount.
Yeah, 40 hours. And it started in the jail from what I heard.
Yeah, in the jail, which our friend Aaron was telling us that is not an uncommon thing. That's done quite a bit. Because not everybody in jail is in there for things like Teardrop did.
Yeah, but it's on his record, and it should have been right there front and center. Should have been a red flag.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, because he's in there for a violent crime.
Mm-hmm. And he's also a suspect in a murder.
Yeah. For some reason, nobody took detailed notes. Nobody put pen to paper and went through his beautiful, impressive resume, as they call it on the inside.
And old Crystal couldn't be bothered to show up and say, hey, this is not a good idea.
No. All she could say was, I was in recovery. So since she was going through her own recovery, she didn't get involved. I'll never understand that. Part of recovery is the wreckage of your past, girlfriend.
Mm-hmm. And I applaud her for getting straight. But you don't leave babies where they're gonna be hurt. She knew what kind of man he was.
Mm-hmm. But that's what she says when people have asked her, why didn't you intercede when he was going through reunification, even though it's only 40 hours?
Mm-hmm.
That's how fast that went down. I was under the impression that she didn't know at all because everything in this has failed. It wouldn't surprise me if no social worker reached out to the bio mom and said, this is what's going on. She was aware, though. She was aware.
He was aware.
She was aware. So the two gentlemen from Boston, they adopt Jameson. Jameson is doing amazing, thriving, wonderful. He's got an amazing life.
But he was still missing his sister.
Yes. Still missing his sister. I go back to what Mama Kay said in chat. I think it was the second show we did for Harmony. And she said Jameson is the one that told everyone Harmony was missing. If
Yep.
it wasn't for him asking for Harmony, asking for his sister, crying for her, the adoptive parents wouldn't have been going through the lengths that they were going to find her, to get these kids together so little brother can see big sister and back and forth. They reach out to Crystal, the biological mother, and say, what do? We can't get Teardrop on the phone. We can't get Teardrop to reply to us. You know, we're trying to do a meetup. We want to send her presents. We want to make sure they are in each other's lives. Well, there's Crystal. I don't know. I haven't heard from her.
Except for Easter.
Mm-hmm. Last time she had heard from Harmony, as if it's Harmony's responsibility to contact her mother, was a FaceTime Easter of 2019. They FaceTimed and Crystal said, here's your Easter basket. Next time I see you, I'll give it to you. Of course, Harmony's excited. Little Easter bunny, some chocolates. 2019, Harmony was reported missing December of 2021.
It still makes me angry.
2021.
I just can't get past it.
So it didn't take long to find Teardrop. He was living in the car. I think he was at a Walmart in Manchester, New Hampshire. They pull him and Kelsey Smalls, the girlfriend at the time, who has nothing to do with Harmony's murder or disappearance, out of the car. They arrest him. So this is a totally separate charge. He's been in jail ever since. Then they realize that stepmeth had been collecting benefits for Harmony, knowing that Harmony is not in her care. So they get her on welfare fraud. This has been one cluster after another.
That's putting it mildly.
Mm-hmm. And in the midst of terrible parents, grandparents not asking where their granddaughter is, let that sink in.
Yeah.
You also have two systems that fail her. CPS, Child Protective Services in Massachusetts, that gave Harmony to him. A judge that didn't do his due diligence. That's insane. Then you have CPS in New Hampshire that did no follow-up because they said there was no interstate compact, they call it, to check on her once she goes to another state. So then you have that problem too. The governor of New Hampshire requested and got it, a full report on how Harmony was failed. And you can see the cracks in the system, the way it's lined out. It'll make you sick. One thing that came out in the report was everything that Crystal Sorey had been saying about her attempts to save her daughter was false.
Yep.
False. Crystal did not even return a phone call from a social worker. None. None. Now, they did have a family court hearing. This was in July or August for Teardrop regarding his parental rights. I will not understand this. No way. I cannot understand this. But they did. Crystal did show up. So I'm assuming she must have because Harmony's been murdered, parental rights to Harmony at the time, or they wouldn't have heard her in court. She didn't do it before, though.
Yeah, when it could have done some good.
Mm-hmm. 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 Let's look at some comments from the last show, shall we?
Why not?
All right. Anthony said, beautiful little Harmony was let down by every adult in her short life. I hope her spirit is in a safer and happier place now. Family, CPS, teachers, and an inept but chosen judge who broke existing safeguards sealed this precious child's fate. Every adult, even the system that's supposed to be set up to make sure that these children are not failed, the judge. I'm not talking about some underpaid and overworked social worker, because there was many involved. The judge. Anthony goes on to say, talking about the judge, now he's rewarded with a second income to add insult to Harmony's injuries.
Don't get me started on the judge.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So busy clearing his death so he could retire and go sailing. I hope his boat sink.
It is crazy. I am of the attitude that the judge should have lost his pension, not be allowed to be a fill-in judge, which is what he is now. He's retired, getting a full pension from the state of Massachusetts. And when another judge has other judging things to do, like take a vacation or play golf, he sits in for them. In family court. In family court.
I can't understand it. I just can't. I can't.
Nope. Blake 1720, has Adam officially been charged with murder? No. We did cover that in the beginning of the show. He has not. There are no charges pending on anyone, him, stepmeth, anyone, for the murder of Harmony Montgomery. I'm not speculating on murder, by the way. I'm not jumping the gun saying that she was murdered. That is what the Attorney General of the state of New Hampshire told us. This is now a homicide investigation. She was murdered. They got everything out of that apartment that's telling them she is murdered.
It's a hard pill to swallow. The poor baby.
Court case said, because you and I have been talking about this since January, when we first started doing the show about Harmony, covering the case. We've often asked about, since stepmeth was illegally accepting benefits for Harmony, which from what my understanding, it was food stamps. She was accepting them from the end of November, which is when they believe Harmony was murdered, up until, hang on, that was in 2019. So December of 2019 till like June of 2021, right?
Yeah.
It was over a year. Okay, so in that time, we've been wondering, what about Harmony's stimulus money? Court said, wasn't the stimulus a flat amount? So instead of per child, she got one amount for all the kids. Is that how it worked?
I thought it was per child. You got so much per person.
Well, yeah, it's per child, but it just comes in one lump sum. Is
Oh,
what she's saying.
yeah.
And since it's not
that's
anything she had to file for per se, you just file your taxes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I still think that's coming down the pike, because somebody would have had to have filed taxes and put on there that Harmony's in their household, right?
But she did work. Stepmeth worked.
Yeah.
So she would have filed taxes.
Yeah. Regardless of, I don't know how responsible.
She got the stimulus money. They had to have gotten it.
Okay. So say, I don't have minor children. Say you have, I'll use an even number, 4 children. Are you going to see 4 separate deposits in your checking account? Or do you just see one lump sum? I think
One lump sum. One lump sum.
One lump sum. Okay. Maybe that's the reason that they haven't pursued anything with the stimulus money. Sluggish Sleuth just came in. She says, my biggest question. Harmony had welfare checks on Guilford Street, then welfare checks on Union Street. So why did they not account for Harmony? That we would love to know. We would love to know, because the governor's report, you see cracks all over it. It's the damn Titanic. You just can't figure out between all the comings and goings why she was never taken out of the home. Basically, by the time CPS got there, whatever was reported wasn't going on, and they had what's called the minimum standard of care. Even if they had a generator outside the house to give them electricity, it's the minimum standard of care. It would take literally, I'm not saying this as to be funny or being sarcastic or a metaphor, literally would take an act of Congress, in that state, to change the minimum standard of care. It's the craziest thing. So then, let's say they do change it in that state. Again, we're talking act of Congress. That could take 5-6 years. A lot can go on in that time. So say they change it, and then Teardrop and Stepmeth move back to Massachusetts. They have a totally different minimum standard of care. So CPS comes knocking, and they're like, I can't remove her because it meets the minimum standard of care. It's crazy.
Exactly. Poor kid. All I can think of, that poor little baby. And what about her vision? She had to have glasses. She don't go for appointments and nobody calls.
Was she even going for any appointments?
That's what I'm saying.
Because we know doctors are mandated reporters, but then again, they could have seen nothing wrong. I saw nothing in that governor's report saying anything about doctor's visits.
Well, it was during COVID. You know, they're going to throw that in there.
Yeah, I have a friend in New York. She wasn't allowed to open her practice during COVID, and she's an ophthalmologist. I don't.
So many kids were lost in the cracks.
Yep.
That's another can of worms. Another discussion, another day.
That'd be an all-day discussion. That makes me so mad. All right, so let's get to where we're at right now. Then I'm going to look at the article of the gentleman that has been speaking to the news. He hasn't been on camera yet. I don't blame him. He owns the house they found stepmeth in.
Oh, I don't think I saw that one.
Yeah, it's just an article. I wish I could find something where he's actually talking on camera, but he's not.
Antoinette Rondella, good morning. Kayla Montgomery is set to be in court today for a bail hearing. This comes after she was arrested after failing to come to a different court appearance. Now, this morning, we're seeing images of Montgomery being taken into custody in Manchester on Friday. She was out on bail for welfare fraud charges after investigators say she was filing for state benefits for Harmony when the child wasn't in her care. The 5-year-old girl was declared dead last month after not being seen since 2019. Bail conditions for Kayla Montgomery included showing up for hearings, which she violated when she missed a court appearance last week. Now, Kayla Montgomery is not charged in connection to Harmony's disappearance or death. Live in Manchester, New Hampshire, Emily Maha, WCBB News Center 5.
Okay, so it's 9:30 my time. It's 10:30 there. I'm waiting to get a notification on my phone. What happened in court? Marie, are you in here? Marie's going to be my notification today because she's right there.
Ooh, my.
Yet. Yeah, I want to see what they do because I don't believe they're going to give her any bail or bond. I mean, they had her locked up for like 5 months. Even the reward for Harmony, well over $150,000. Kayla needed $5,000 to bounce out of the clink. $5,000, and they said you could get part of this reward money. They didn't say the whole enchilada. You could get part of this reward money, which would get her out of jail, if you tell us what's up, what's going on. She sat there on her bony ass for 5 months and said nothing. Then basically I call it a technicality, she's basically served her time for this charge is what it came down to. They let her out. Okay, here was the agreement. You check in at the police station, from what I'm understanding, every day. You submit a sample. You're not going back to your drug life. She was supposed to go through counseling, all of that stuff. Maybe she was playing nice there for a while, but that went away.
Yes, it did. And that tells me that she knows something or she was involved in it if she set her bony little ass in jail.
She said nothing. She sat there for 5 months, I believe. See, when did she get out? Help me here. I might be wrong about the 5 months. It was a while, okay?
Yeah.
She was there for a while. And all she had to do was let them know what they need to know. Why will she not turn on him, guys? Let's take a poll. Why will stepmeth not turn on Teardrop? Is it because she's involved?
That's got my vote.
Or because, as she says, she's still madly in love with him?
Yeah, right.
That's what we're going to go over that phone call just for you today, Susan. That phone call where she was talking to Teardrop's dad. We're going to talk about that today. What is her devotion? What is her devotion? Why are you not talking now, Kayla? Because nothing cancels Valentine's Day like the U.S. Marshals beating your ass.
Yep.
Pebble says, I think she's scared of him. He's in jail. He's not getting out.
He can't hurt her. He ain't going nowhere quick.
Celeste says codependency. And in all of this, like I said, what I have to listen to it again. We're going to listen to it again. She just makes it sound like she has this undying love for Adam. All right, here's the article. Let me see. That's them getting her.
Many people never realize as they go through every day that the little things and the big things that make life easy.
That's right, John. It's important to note here that Kayla Montgomery was out on bail on welfare fraud charges connected to applying for state benefits back in 2019 for her stepdaughter, Harmony Montgomery, when the child was no longer in her care. Part of those bail arrangements are that she appear in court when there's a hearing. She failed to do that last week. That prompted this new arrest warrant to be issued. The execution of that warrant very much came as a surprise to at least one other person in that house.
I had military machine rifles put to my head and told to face the ground.
Quite the start to the day for Dave St. Ange on.
Well, just like that, manna from heaven. This is the guy she was staying with. This is his house, but she was staying with his brother, I believe. Okay, so here he is.
I can't see him. Can you center it?
No? Can everybody see the article? I mean, can you see what's on the screen?
I can only see his shoulder, his right shoulder.
Okay, let me do it again.
In that house.
I had military machine rifles put to my head and told to face the ground.
Quite the start to the day for Dave St. Ange on Friday. He was stepping out of this house on Russell Street to go to the corner store.
They had U.S. Marshals, they had state police, Manchester PD.
Did they put a gun to your head?
Yeah. And not too much, but for me to where that camera guy is.
St. Ange says he knew a woman was visiting his brother for a few days, but didn't know who she was. After the house was searched and Kayla was arrested, they filled him in.
They kicked the door in on the other on they when they had me handcuffed over here. They came in and got through the top door and broke the door in where she was in.
St. Ange says they hauled his brother away in handcuffs as well on Friday, telling him something about harboring a fugitive.
I think she's, she deserves everything coming to her.
OMG. All right. So, no, they didn't just knock on the door like Avon calling. They busted this place up. So she was staying with his brother. Okay, let me look at the article. A man who lives in the home where Harmony Montgomery's stepmother was arrested Friday told News 9 that he had no idea that Kayla Montgomery was the woman who was visiting his brother. I guess he doesn't keep up with the news. Did he not recognize her?
I'm not buying it.
I mean, for those of you in the town that are local, you don't have to give your address or anything. This is a very widely publicized case.
All over the news.
He didn't know who she was. All right, but they got his brother for harboring a fugitive. Okay. An arrest warrant was issued last week for Kayla Montgomery after she failed to show up to a court hearing in violation of her bail conditions. The charges are related to alleged welfare fraud connected to filing for state benefits for Harmony in 2019 when the child was not in her care. Kayla Montgomery is not charged in connection with Harmony's disappearance. Okay, she was arrested at a home on Russell Street in Manchester. David, who we just saw in that clip, we're going to look at that again, who lives in the home, said he was stepping out to go to the corner store when law enforcement moved in. Okay, they had U.S. Marshals, state police. They kicked the door in on the other side. When they had me on the ground handcuffed over here, they broke through the door and got through the top door where she was in. She brought a lot of problems to that neighborhood. Could you imagine?
I could not.
Your brother's like, hey, I've got a date. She's going to stay here for the weekend. Then you got the U.S. Marshals knocking your ass to the ground and handcuffing you and putting a gun to your head.
I'm thinking, oh boy, was probably into the drugs as well, or why was she there?
He goes on to say, police took his brother away in handcuffs, telling him something about harboring a fugitive. Well, he didn't have any drugs or anything on him because he's the only man standing. He didn't get arrested. Have a feeling when brother gets out of jail, he might have some questions. He's probably going to be pretty upset.
I would imagine.
How did he not recognize her? Like I said, he must not keep up with current events.
Arrangements are that she appear in court when there's a hearing. She failed to do that last week. That prompted this new arrest warrant to be issued. The execution of that warrant very much came as a surprise to at least one other person in that house.
Well, I had military machine rifles put to my head and told to face the ground.
Quite the start to the day for Dave St. Ange on Friday. He was stepping out of this house on Russell Street to go to the corner store.
They had U.S. Marshals, they had state police, Manchester PD.
Did they put a gun to your head?
Yeah. And not too much, but for me to where that camera guy is.
St. Ange says he knew a woman was visiting his brother for a few days, but didn't know who she was. After the house was searched and Kayla was arrested, they filled him in.
They kicked the door in on the other when they had me handcuffed over here. They came in and got through the top door and broke the door in where she was in.
St. Ange says they hauled his brother away in handcuffs as well on Friday, telling him something about harboring a fugitive.
I think she's, she deserves everything coming to her.
And a new bail hearing is scheduled for Kayla Montgomery here at Superior Court tomorrow, 9 a.m. We're live in Manchester this noon. Amy Cavino, WMUR News 9.
They're on a different time schedule than us.
Yeah.
So it might not have happened yet.
No, well, they said 9 a.m., so it's almost 11 there.
Well,
Hello, Lex. Lex creeped in the back door. What a date. What a date. I thought she was eternally devoted to Teardrop, and now she's with old boy's brother, and the marshals are breaking them all up, putting a gun to his head as he goes to the store. As he goes to the store.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine. I cannot imagine.
Snow said she's getting all her drugs in now before she hits the jail cell. And that's the thing. She sat in jail all that time. She didn't take their offer, which is, you tell us what we need to know, and we're going to let you walk out of here. Why did she not take that offer?
Because she's involved.
Because she's involved. Because
That's
she
the only
is.
thing that makes sense.
No, Big T, the brother did not turn her in. He's in jail as well for harboring a fugitive, my friend. He is in jail too. Let's see. True Crime with Shannon is backstage. She's going to weigh in. I also put the link up for, let me see. I got to find the name. Sluggish Sleuth. I was talking to Level Headed, who said that you were there the other day, and I wanted to chat with you as well. Talk to me, Shannon. What's up?
So yeah, they had her in court this morning. It was really quick in and out. They revoked her bail, and she's sitting in jail.
Good. Good. What happened to her?
I hope she sits and rots. But I have a feeling it probably won't be too long because she's our revolving door, awful person. So I get riled up just like you guys do about her whole situation, because I don't know. I mean, they could make a deal with her and probably dump some of these other charges if she talks, but I don't think she's going to talk. She hasn't talked yet. So, I think she was involved, and if she didn't do it, she's an accessory for sure. So
she was there for 5 months and she didn't crack. Now she's back in. If she sits there and sits there and sits there and sits there and still says nothing, because I thought the last time she's going to be the key to this, they're going to find Harmony.
I wish she would, but apparently, I don't know whether the two of them, I don't think they're in love, but there's some kind of pact there. I don't know, either that or she knows she's as guilty as him. And, they're just not going to crack.
No, according to her, she's in love. Hey, Aaron, do you want to grab the link? I want to get your take on all this because it's been insane all summer.
And you know what? And as far as Mr. Teardrop there, he thinks he's getting a speedy trial. Did you hear all that? He wants a speedy trial. I'm like, you ain't going nowhere. Come on.
He can get a speedy trial for what he can get a speedy trial for what he's in for. Remember, there's no murder charges.
Yeah, he's go for November, apparently. That's what they're saying. They're trying to get him set for November. But, he ain't going out of jail. He thinks he's going to get his sentence and go back into the world. You ain't going nowhere.
Of course
Come on.
He will. Of course he will. They're going to say for this charge, we have time served, and then it's going to be like another year with good behavior. You go out, you get out. They can't just hold you because they think you might have done something. They got to prove it. He could be walking out by next June unless they get something going with Harmony.
I sure hope they can. I really hope they can.
Unfortunately, I believe that poor Harmony is just going to fade into the background because nobody wants to figure out who's responsible. Because everyone's responsible.
I don't know. It's awful. And I agree with you, Brooks. I mean, I started to feel bad for Crystal too, but she didn't do nothing for her either. For Harmony. So as far as I'm concerned, she's as bad as the rest of them. I mean, I'm not saying she didn't come through and get herself fixed up, but why didn't she ask about Harmony sooner?
Exactly.
So
Mother's Day, Christmas.
Come on.
Oh my gosh.
So, I mean, everybody's like, oh, they feel bad for her. I said, I feel only a little bit bad for her. She's the only one I have a tiny bit But other than that, she didn't ask for where her daughter was.
Nope,
She didn't.
she couldn't be bothered.
And she did not save her daughter from Adam at all, like y'all said. She did not save her daughter ever. So she just all of a sudden realized, oh, I haven't heard from her. You know, I mean,
When the other parents got a hold of her.
so it's ridiculous. So I mean, she's supposed to be on tonight. I guess they're gonna, one of the channels is gonna interview Crystal. So I'm curious what she's got to say. Okay.
You know, I just don't really entertain her. I just don't. I mean, I've seen her stuff on Twitter where she basically she just fights with people. And here's the elephant in the room. You know, we can't undone what's been done. But why she's not doing it anymore. But when she first came out of the gate, you know, I mean, people, you know, the people that tell Facebook everything, she had these people hook, line, and sinker. Now, for the ones that do your research and you study up, you go and you read the governor's report and you realize she fed you a crock of shit.
Yep.
She lied to you.
She sure did. The only ones that ever care for that little girl besides that foster family are Jameson's dads. And everybody else, including the state, failed this little girl. And I have no sympathy for any of them, you know. And at first, you know, you heard her story and you felt bad. Then you really heard the truth and you're like, she's full of it.
I didn't believe her from the get, because no mother is not going to a good mother, even a mediocre mother, even I give it my all sometimes mother, you know what I'm talking about, is not going to go through hell and high water to save their child from someone they know is dangerous. She failed to do that. She failed to even open her mouth, make a phone call, send an email, show up in court, anything. And then she's like, well, I FaceTimed her on Easter and I was always calling the police and always calling CPS and nobody would help me. Negative. None of that happened.
Yeah, they tried to reach her and she never got back to them. So yeah, she's to me, she's got little to stand on, you know. And we all, like you said, except for you, because you know she fooled me a bit. She did, and then I read the report and I'm like, nope.
She treated Harmony like an afterthought.
And then of course, you know, Kayla, you know, and you know, Adam, they treated her like she's a paycheck. I don't know. It's like, you know, it's ridiculous.
Eileen said, not enough. Get in the car and go look for your kid. She's in Lowell, Massachusetts. They're up in Manchester. She could have gone and looked for her damn self.
She could have gotten a welfare check, a phone call.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She could have done so much more, even that didn't cost her anything but a phone call, but she didn't do it. So, I mean, and then of course you got that uncle who, you know, he came off of, I saw, you know, Adam hitting her and all this stuff, but he's full of it too. It's like all people. Yeah. What the hell?
And then he starts a GoFundMe. And when he is pressed, here's the thing about these people. We see it in the Summer Wells case too. You know, they come in and say, I saw this. Then when you press them, well, how come no one did anything about it? How come you didn't grab the child and take them to the emergency room, whether they needed emergency care or not? Because that's going to get the ball rolling for sure. For sure. And what does he say? Well, we're just going to keep this about Harmony. I don't want to go into all of that, but I've got to GoFundMe so we can continue our search for Harmony. BS. Stop that. Nobody needs to raise money for their own search. Okay? That is ridiculous.
They needed to get their things from his house, and they had to have police protection. But my goodness, let's not call police protection for them kids. I don't get it.
And I think that Kayla's kids may know something too, but you know, I hate to put them in that position because they've been through enough crap. But you know, I still think that, you know, same thing like you know, Summer's brothers. I think the kids know a lot more than we probably realize. You know, and how much are they going to say? You don't want to traumatize them, but what do they know?
Right.
So, you know, I'm sure they know something. But, you know, the question is, like, speaking to a kid is a very difficult thing, you know. Now, of course, they're protecting these kids. Well, they didn't protect Harmony before.
Elizabeth said, I didn't believe Crystal either from the get. I'm a mommy. Nope. He'd never had my baby. No. And like I said, it's not like she lives in Southern California and he's in New Hampshire, so she just can't get there that quick. Okay. We can all agree that that would take some travel time, correct?
Yeah.
She's in Lowell, Mass. If nobody's responding to you and you don't know where your daughter is, you get in the car. If you don't have a car, you find someone that does. If they're all like, screw you, you already owe me money, I'm not taking up there. Where there's a will, there's a way. So when Crystal is pressed on, well, what's going on? You said that you were doing all these things. The governor's report said you didn't. That finally, when Jameson's adoptive fathers contacted you, you sent an email to the mayor of Manchester. Okay, that's what really got the ball rolling. It did. So Crystal, that was good that Crystal did that. We still had 2 years we hadn't seen Harmony. So instead of just owning it, which I guess was impossible to do, instead of just owning it, she goes into
The hero.
she had to back down from that. She goes into her recovery mission. Well, I was in recovery, so I couldn't do anything. Lots of people, and God bless you,
Yeah.
have
I
been.
don't fault her for that. I don't fault her for that. But she didn't pick up the damn phone. I just can't.
Truth.
And here is the comment of the day. Thank you. Crystal could have posted on social media like she does with everything else. Not one post saying she's looking for her daughter. Not one in those 2 years, but she said she did everything.
And doesn't she have family up there where he was living?
You know what? I don't know.
I don't know. I'm sure she knows people.
Nobody could drive by?
Yeah. Her
I
story,
always say,
her story is weak.
if it doesn't make sense, it isn't true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're exactly right. Eileen said, I give credit to Harmony's brother for getting that ball rolling. Yes.
Absolutely. Jameson put out the
little
word.
guy, too.
Yeah.
She could have gone up there to look for her. She could have. Or the name I can't pronounce, the comment I put up before Aaron's, she uses social media for everything else. Why in that 2 years was Crystal not pleading to social media, I'm trying to find my daughter Harmony? Her father got her back. I was in recovery. I didn't know this was going on. He's a bad dude. I've got to find her. Nobody will help me.
And I could have gotten behind that, but that's not what happened.
Yeah. And obviously, if she would have waited until, after they're saying that when she was dead, I mean, she wouldn't have gotten, sadly, an alive Harmony, but we would have had not waited 2 years.
Right.
So, I mean, granted that her waiting even 2 or 3 months would have screwed everything, but hey, we could have given her more credit for that.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
then she comes up with an even more elaborate lie and says that Harmony was seen at a local Dollar General store and that they had changed her name. She had her sister on the news repeating this ridiculous story.
That pissed me off.
Yeah.
It's about as bad as seeing the summer sighting.
Oh. People are ridiculous. Ridiculous. And although I don't agree with Erin, I don't think that she had anything to do with what happened to Harmony, other than what we stated.
Yeah, I just think, honestly, she was just a really awful mother. And she focused on herself and getting her recovery, which was great that she wanted to recover, but she should have made some time or had somebody in her family that she could have relied on to help her check on Harmony. Yeah. There was something more that she could have done. But I don't think she had anything to do with, Harmony obviously being gone. No, but she didn't help at all, period.
Right. And the reason I believe that is because she got no benefits for Harmony. You know, the stimulus money.
Oh, yeah.
If she had Harmony, she would have gotten the benefits.
Yeah.
There's no way she would have let Adam keep that money. No way.
Yeah. This is just such a frustrating situation. And I think we're all just so anxious for them to get either one of them, Kayla or Teardrop, there on anything so that we can keep their butts in jail. And it's just not going to happen, you know, as fast as we want, I don't think.
On Kendall, grab the link. She said, I went to school with them in Manchester years ago. Kayla knows something, but she won't say anything because of Adam. I was getting ready to play her phone call. Can you grab the link? If you can't, if you don't feel comfortable coming up and talking to us, Kendall, send me an email. I'll give you my phone number. I want to talk to you.
Wow.
That would be good information.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, anybody that knows Kayla, that would be amazing.
Yeah, I would love to know where all of this went so wrong. And I'm going to agree with Susan that probably it's from Teardrop. Hang on, I'm going to type my email in here.
Yeah.
Gmail.
All we can do is pray that they find out, you know, they have some proof, you know, of that Adam and Kayla had something to do with Harmony's death before, you know, Adam gets released. That's all we can pray for.
Anyone that's followed any cases for any time knows that, you know, justice is a crock pot, not a microwave. And they're not going to be in any hurry because they already know that Harmony is not alive. They do want to find Harmony. They took tons of biological, biological and physical evidence out of the apartment. They probably already have it tied to him, but no point in starting the clock. Wouldn't it be much easier and the right thing to do for Kayla to say, this was my involvement, cut me a deal? Why can't she do that? He's not going anywhere.
Yeah. You're right. They're going to get him. It's just a matter of time. And I'd rather have them take, considering that sadly we already know she's dead, I would rather have them take their time and make sure all their I's are dotted and their T's are crossed before they charge him and or her.
I'm honestly losing hope.
Yeah.
The poor baby has been failed by everybody, and it looks like it's going to happen again.
For some reason with this case, I'm not worried about that. Because look at everything that has transpired in really a short amount of time. They announced in December she's been missing for 2 years. They always say the first 48 hours is the most crucial. They have 2 years. 2 years they've got to size up. Then they bust open that apartment back in July. That was something out of a movie. That was crazy. We talked about refrigerators for days. And then they get the talks, they get everything back, the DNA, all of that. And they announced, they have the attorney general. He made the announcement. This is now a homicide investigation. So whatever they took out of there was enough to change this from a missing person, which, yes, she's still missing. They still have to find her body, to homicide. The chief goes and he doubles down. He says that she was murdered. But one thing I do think about with all his gun charges, and let's face it, I have a feeling Teardrop and Step Meth didn't keep the best company. The murder could be somebody else.
Oh, I never even thought about that.
That's a whole nother swerve off the grid.
Oh. Leave it to Brooks.
Wow. That's going to make me think all day.
They're still going to be culpable. They're still going to be complicit. They'll probably never again see the light of day outside of a jail cell. Because either or, those two are sitting there and they know something and they're saying nothing. My assumption is with his violent history and the fact that he was making her scrub the toilet with a toothbrush, that he killed Harmony And Kayla's covering this up.
Yeah.
Let's get to the phone call where Kayla, in her own words, talks about how she'll never give up on Teardrop.
Yeah.
Who would? I mean, who would?
Oh, he's such a catch.
You might have to turn up your volumes. It's a little muffled. This was the best quality I could find. Hang on.
My bad. Hey. Hey. Oh, man. All right. You got a pen? Yep. So it's 1, 3, 5, 2, 9. Marilyn Court. MARILYN. Okay. That's in Florida. Okay. 34669. Alright, yeah, what's crazy was, I don't know, did you get a Facebook message from this girl Whitney? Because what's so crazy, it's crazy that I got your letter and everything, because I saw that you put money on my account, and I was just saying to the girl, like, dude, I wonder if I could get a hold of him somehow, or whatever, right? Because I didn't remember your number, it was in my phone, but I didn't remember it.
Okay, so basically what she's saying, she's talking to Adam's dad, Teardrop's dad, and she got his address. She's calling him. He's been putting money on her account while she's in jail. I know you've been putting money basically on her books. That's how it starts out.
And then I was like, and I know he was in Florida, and I was like, dude, I need you, because this chick just got out on front court, and I was like, I need you to go on Facebook and look up my dad. And she was like, what's her name? And I was like, all right. And I told her, and she just sent it last night, sent you a Facebook message or whatever, asking for your number and your address so I could write you and call you. And then I got your letter today, and I was like, that's crazy. I don't think she did. All right. Or she found it. Oh, well, but no, she found like an old Facebook and not the one. Right. Because I have like 2 or 3 of them. Yeah. At least 2 that I know of that are, when you punch my name, I still come up. Yeah. So she is like a million. Right, exactly like that. And so, and plus, I don't know, a lot of my, yeah. Because I'm getting so many requests from people trying to talk to you. Yeah, the stupid news people. I got a letter from WMUR from Amy Cavino asking for an interview. I got a letter from someone from where is it? Illinois or Indiana, something like that, asking to be questions. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, leave me alone, dude. Right. And then it's like, Thursday, I know these people are going to be standing out. Like, it's going to be on the news because I'm on the news every time. So I know, of course, she's on news. It's going to be, she's getting released. They're going to be outside the jail and everything. They were banging outside my window when I first got here. I was over on the windows on like Willow Street side, on the bottom floor on the top. They were making the window, everything was hanging and everything. I was like, what the f***, dude? Really? Yeah, they had to move me.
Oh my goodness. This is like Sammy Smith talking about how she didn't plan to get famous from this. Or Jody Sue Brown saying she didn't want all this attention. Listen to her. This is like something Crystal would say. They had to move me because of all the people. Lady, they want to kill you. She makes it sound like she has fans. You there, Susan?
I'm here. I was on mute.
Remember that? Her fans, the people that were waving at her, and they had to keep moving her. Where's Harmony? And you're bothered?
Yeah. And this is Grandpa that's talking to her and not demanding answers. Oh, I put money on your books.
Mhm.
Really? Really?
Yeah.
Not where's my effing granddaughter?
Where's
I
my
don't believe. I don't believe these people, honestly.
Mhm. But she's getting Pepsi. You know, she's not just having bread and water and pinto beans. She's getting Pepsi and beefaroni and stuff like that. And then, you know, saying they had to move me because so many people were, you know, yelling for her and stuff. Remember that one where she was walking out and she was waving to all her friends behind her?
Waving like the queen. Bye. See you later.
Sick.
I'm
Sickening.
fearless. This case infuriates me.
Sickening.
This poor little baby.
I can't even look at a can of beefaroni without thinking about this bitch.
Right. So yeah, I'm gonna send you. I wrote you a letter, but I'm gonna mail it out tonight, and I'll send the pictures with it of the kid. Yeah, and you know, let me know if they need anything out there. It's good if you guys, you know. Yeah, I'll send something specific, something I can get for them. Yeah. You know what I mean? Something to help out. You know, I know. You know. I don't know how you know the situation is, but, you know, just let me know if there's anything I can do. Yeah, well, I know, like, through my uncle, I just found out that my Uncle Tom passed away 2 Fridays ago, and my aunt, they was in Manchester, they was on 2nd Street, South Main Street, they was on South Main Street, like, right down the house from Guilford, right down the street from Guilford Street. They was, like, right there, and he just passed away. He was a veteran and things like he was like overweight and had so many health issues, but he just passed away. He got cremated and everything, and now my aunt's living at my grandma's house. So like, cause she was like, everything got shut off the day that he died, so she has like nothing right now. And they were coming down every weekend taking to help my mom and everything with the kids. But I'll let my mom know. So let me know if she needs anything or whatever. And I'll put her number in the letter so you have her number. Okay. Yeah. We could somehow stay in contact. Yeah. I tried reaching out to you regardless of whatever was going on, the guy is only checking out and checking along or whatever that is. Yeah, I kind of just leave them to the focus to deal with their own shit. They're always fighting and always dead. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't have to get involved. I mean, you guys were kind of closer than me and Adam were just because of the simple fact that I was gone for so long. Yeah, exactly. So you guys have your own relationship. I just stayed out of it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And whatever. It's like, I don't take sides. And my son, Kevin's my brother. Yeah. I love you both that out amongst yourself. Yeah, exactly. You know, so, but, because I tried reaching out to you and sent you messages, like I was getting blocks from everybody. Yeah, I know, like, we got rid of, like, so many Facebooks, and then Adam was freaking out. He was being crazy, that's why I had to leave, that's why I separated myself from him. He was being crazy, he was going down. Yeah, I know, I talked to him a little bit. Yeah, I had to go. I couldn't do it. But, I love you, and I don't know. I still love him. I'm here for him. I miss him. I'm not going anywhere. Like, you know, let him know that. Like.
Okay, it's really hard to hear. It's a jailhouse phone call, but right there, I'll go back and you can listen to it again if you can make it out. Basically, she is not supposed to have any contact with Teardrop at all. She's talking to Teardrop's dad, basically trying to get a word to him, which is Susan, and tell him I love him and I'm not going
nowhere. Yeah.
Now she knows everything's recorded. This is a code. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
He said, I've been trying to get a hold of him. Well, he's not going anywhere. So I guess he just didn't want to talk to you, but please keep putting money on his books. Now, don't forget that in this conversation, the whole reason they're having a call in jail is they weren't hunting her down because she was collecting welfare on Harmony. They hunted her down and found something to pin on her. What she did do it, don't get me wrong, because Harmony Montgomery is missing. This is her grandfather asking everything, but it's like they're making general chit chat.
Yep.
Talking about everything. Her uncle passed away, stuff going on at the grandma's house, all her fans outside on Willow Street. They had to keep moving her. Then here comes the zinger. If you can get a hold of him, tell him I love him and I'm not going anywhere.
Fucking bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Let's see if we can make that out a little clearer. Hang on.
I love him. I still love him. I'm here for him. I miss him. I'm not going anywhere. Like, you know, I don't know that. Like, I'm still here. Okay. I'm not going nowhere. I'll talk to him. He should be calling me here. And he's here.
He should be calling me here any day. I haven't heard from him. But Kayla says, make sure you tell him I love him. I'm not going anywhere, and I'm in for the long haul. Did she say long haul or long run?
I thought it was set the long run.
Oh.
Let's see how long her long run will last.
The grandparents in these cases, whether we're talking about Harmony Montgomery, Summer Wells, Oakley Carlson. I haven't done a show on Oakley in a while. I gotta do an update on Oakley Carlson. The grandparents stun me more than the parents, honestly.
Honestly, yes. It's like everybody treats her as an afterthought. I just don't get it. I don't get it.
This is your grandbaby. Even in the Kylie Rodney case, a lot of people are, the grandparents. And I'm like, I'll get on that subject in the next show. But the grandparents stunned the hell out of me. Your Harmony is missing. My dude, you have not seen Harmony in 2 years either. Why are you acting like nothing's going on? Jailhouse phone call or not? This would be a good time to go get any little nugget out of her you can, just so the authorities have something to investigate.
Absolutely. I don't get it. You had Christmases. You've had birthdays. Where are her presents?
And what a good point. As a grandfather, okay, so I'm picking on Teardrop Senior right now. For 2 years, whether it be social media, a card in the mail, I still do things old school. I still send out Christmas cards. I don't think that's something stepmeth would do. But anyhow, you're telling me for 2 years you haven't sent your granddaughter a birthday present? Saw a picture of her in her Halloween costume? Asked what Santa Claus brought her? Yet you're getting a message to your son from his ex to let him know she's going to keep along and keep her mouth shut.
Yeah. I don't get it. I honestly don't get it. Did they hate Harmony?
What in how could you?
I know.
What
Look at the face. It haunts me.
Me too. Me too. Me too. Charlene said, if I didn't see my grands every week, I would go nuts. Yeah.
A phone call, Christmases, Thanksgiving, Easter, birthdays, nothing. She just evaporated. No questioning. Please.
And he's putting money on their books. Now, mind you, this is back in March, I believe, is when this phone call occurred. Has the elevator not gone to the top yet for Teardrop Senior? Has he not figured out that his son, and more than likely his son's ex, have something to do with the murder of Harmony Montgomery? Has that not clicked?
I don't have any answers because I don't know. Honestly, I can't figure it out. I don't care how much I love my child. If they've done something to one of my babies, I'm going to be at the courthouse, prosecute them.
Mhm.
This is what I know.
I look at the case of Argelio Pupo and Morgan Keene.
Mm.
When the granddaughter, she tells her grandmother what Argelio had been doing to her, she turned on her daughter.
Yes, and that's exactly what I would do because the children need protection. They're not old enough to do anything.
Yeah. She called the police right then, Renee
Mhm.
did. She called the police right then. Her daughter was in her room because she had just gotten back from the hospital because Argelio had beat her up. It's just one thing after another. She called the police and they talked to the little girl. She told them what was going on. Zoom. They take her right away. Take her to the hospital. They got to find, you can, put her through all the tests and everything like that. Morgan and Argelio are still sitting in jail.
As they should be.
As they should be. They're going to be there for a long, long, long time. She didn't think twice about turning her daughter in. It wasn't like it just came out later that her daughter knew what was going on. Her granddaughter told her she didn't think twice to let her daughter sit in jail for the rest of her life.
Because that's what grandparents do.
Then we have these grandparents haven't even asked about her for 2 years.
No.
Haven't even asked about Harmony. We have Summer Wells. Dumbass Grandis. She's wiping the sleep out of her eye out of the camper. Here comes Candace. Oh, I looked under a mattress and a few blankets. She got abducted. Really? Yeah. And she doesn't say, no, Candace, we're going to find her. She's got to be around here somewhere. She says, I just knew she was gone. Candace was yelling for her, and I just knew she was gone. Well, you knew she was gone, but you just didn't think in your head that she could be around there somewhere? No. What is going on with these people?
I wish I knew. They are so removed from the situation. No empathy. I can't. I don't understand it, and I don't want to, frankly.
My mom passed away in the year 2000, and my boys were her world, let me tell you. And she kind of had the attitude, don't get me wrong, my mother loved me very much, but it was once the boys came around, it was to hell with you. Her life was those grandbabies.
I agree.
They got gifts for Labor Day. My goodness. And we have these grandparents, and who I do not think have anything to do with the murder of Harmony Montgomery, but you're talking to this imbecile, this could be a murderer, on the phone about keeping money on her books so she can get her Pepsi and her beefaroni. You don't even mention Harmony. Yes, I understand it's a recorded call, but you're going to get a message back to her possibly co-conspirator to rest assured, Teardrop, I did so well raising you, and here I go again. I'm going to let you know that she said she's in for the long haul. She still loves you. You got that right, Aaron. Jesus. These people need Jesus badly.
I'll agree.
Mm-hmm.
They need something.
Corey Edwards, I've got to read this comment. This is awesome. She said, my mama said, once you have a baby, you don't get to be the baby.
Amen.
Wow, I love that. I'm going to write that down for when I have grandkids. I'm already looking at stuff I'm going to say to my kids.
There's an unspoken rule in our house.
Mm-hmm. All right, guys, I'm going to start winding this down unless somebody wants to grab the link and kind of talk about the ongoing case of Harmony Montgomery. If not, you know, I'm not going to let this go. Not going to let. I did have an email the other day from someone saying, I can't believe you gave up on Summer Wells. And I said, just like everybody else, I've only got so much time in the day. I got to sleep. I got to work. I got to eat. Don't worry. No case is not going to be talked about. We're going to hit it and hit it hard. Right, Susan?
Absolutely.
All right, guys, I'll see you all over in Discord later this afternoon, over in the Facebook group. Don't forget, I had a lot of stuff in there I need to look at. A lot of posts that were coming through this morning. Something about Tony Dodge and stuff like that. I got to go figure out what's going on. So anyway, hit your reminder. Hit your reminder because going to be back either later this afternoon or tomorrow morning. You don't want to miss this next show, and I don't want to miss you guys because you are the best chat and the best community on YouTube. Hands down. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye.